welcome again. It's time now for us to bring you sports. Are you ready? Good morning, Ike.
Yeah, good morning. You're looking great as usual this morning, all sporty.
Thank you. So what's up?
Yeah, of course, it's going to be another lovely weekend filled with lots of sporting actions. Our own Anambra Club Solution FC, of course, are informed now, do a great thing, and they will be welcoming Kun Khalifat FC in Oriental Derby. So that's what we anticipate this weekend in. Talking about Sports Splash on ABS TV. Yeah, thank you very much. Good morning once again. Many thanks for joining us for Sports Splash on ABS TV. The Friday edition, reincarnating the spirit of the weekend. Yeah, we anticipate a Solution FC will take on Kun Khalifat FC, a match they sees off at the Nigeria National League. That will lead our program this morning. Also on the show, we'll talk about Enugu Rangers. We'll talk about Enugu. Yes, I was talking about Enugu Rangers, but this time around, Enugu will be on the spotlight. Come next year when we'll have the National Sports Festival. We'll talk about that on the show, and then we'll tell you more about tennis news. The first Grand Slam of the year in tennis is still on. Talking about the Australian Open, some call it Aussies, and then we'll talk about athletics and league fixtures across Western Europe. Lots of league matches are built across Europe this weekend. Now let's start with our first story. Our first story is about Solution Football Club of Anambra State. Solution FC's Anambra-owned club, and of course is that they play in the second tier of Nigerian club football called the Nigeria National League. Yes, so let's tell you that Solution FC will this Saturday, the 18th of January 2025, take on Kun Khalifat FC of Owerri in one of the match day 6 fixtures of the Nigeria National League, the NNL 2024-2025 season. The Solution boys last Saturday defeated Gateway FC by 3-1 at the Gateway International Stadium, Ilaro, Ogun State, to record their first win on the road this season. I think that's their first win in away from home in the NNL. And the this Saturday when they take on Kun Khalifat FC, and if they get that win, they will solidify their position and get to 10 points and hope to get another win also to get on top of the log and then push until the midway point of the season. So we wish Solution FC all the very best that come this Saturday at the Awka City Stadium. That's tomorrow we are talking about. Be there at the Awka City Stadium. Let's watch Anambra Club Solution FC do their thing, and let's give them all the necessary support as we look forward to this match day program, talking about the NNL, the most important league in the country. Away from that, let's talk about the African Nations Championship and the draw for the 2024 African Nations Championship finals that was held, and that was on Wednesday in Nairobi, Kenya. The tournament features only players who ply their trade in their domestic leagues and is a platform to showcase the quality of homegrown talent. Kenya, Tanzania and Uganda are the co-hosts of the 2024 edition as a dress rehearsal for the 2027 African Cup of Nations finals. And Kenya, we are the seed as hosts in Group A and have been drawn with two-time winners Morocco, DR Congo, as well as Angola and Zambia. Meanwhile, defending champions Senegal are top seeds in Group D, a 4-team pool, and will face Congo, Sudan, and Nigeria. Two teams must still book their places at the finals with Algeria, Comoros, Gambia, Malawi, Egypt, and South Africa, as well as Gabon, to participate in a qualifying campaign to fill the slots in the draw for the qualifier 1 and the qualifier 2. And now looking at the the draw ceremony. In Group A, we'll have Kenya will be playing alongside Morocco, Angola, DR Congo, and Zambia. That's in Group A. Looks tough. In Group B is Tanzania, Madagascar, Mauritania, Burkina Faso, the Central African Republic. That's in Group B. Excuse me. In Group C, we'll have Uganda. We'll have Niger Republic, Guinea. Then we'll have the qualifier 1 and the qualifier 2. I told you that some countries are still playing the qualifiers. And of course, we expect them to be part of it. And in Group D, we'll have Senegal, Congo, Sudan, and Nigeria. And the tournament will be played in the month of August. That's later in the year. It was shifted earlier on. It should have held in the month of March or April, but has now been pushed down to the month of August later this year. So we'll be watching out for that. But of course, you now know that Senegal, Congo, and Sudan will be playing the Super Eagles Team B. That's the way you talk about the CHAN. Let's move away from that. Let's go to Enugu State and tell you that Enugu State has received the final nod to host the 2026 National Sports Festival following a contract agreement between the state and the National Sports Commission. The agreement to that effect was signed by the Director General of the NSC, Honorable Bukola Olopade, on behalf of the federal government and the Governor Peter Mba for Enugu State. And speaking at the signing ceremony at the government house in Enugu, and that was on Tuesday, Governor Mba thanked the Commission and other sports stakeholders for the confidence that reposed in the state and his administration to stage the event, assuring that it would discharge its hosting responsibilities in a way that would leave an indelible memory on the athletes and Nigerian sports lovers. We also appreciate the value and significance of this award. I want to commend the Commission for finding Enugu worthy of being the next host for the 23rd National Sports Festival. We are going to discharge ourselves accreditably. As you know, we would like to be a role model as a state that gained a preeminence over 115 years ago. We will not want to let our forebearers down. We will live up to that standard. Talking about Governor Mba stated while talking to the media, we have already set forth at dawn. Immediately that announcement was made that we mobilized our team. We are already working on revamping the Ogu Games Village and a whole lot. We have decided to deliver a brand new Games Village. We are also completely renovating the stadium to brand new. We are making sure that by the time you come here by the end of the year, you are going to be highly impressed. It is not a revamping, rebranding, or re-equipping, but we are also going to build additional facilities to the existing one. We are looking forward to having a world-class experience that befitting the sportsmen and women, making hosting a lifelong memory and experience. He said earlier in his address, Honorable Olopade said that the Commission was encouraged by Enugu's bid, available facilities, improved security in the state, and Governor Mba's determination to turn around the sports and the social infrastructure, hence the hosting right to the state after the 22nd edition to be hosted by Ogun State. He added that the hosting would boost investment and tourism in the state before, during, and after the event. So the contract papers have now been signed, as you can see on your screen. That was Bukola Olapade there with Governor Mba as they prepare for the National Sports Festival. You now know Enugu State is hosting the 2026 edition, and of course this year's edition will be hosted by Ogun State. You know it's a biannual event, but I'll be watching out and see what Enugu will be doing as regards that one. So kudos to Governor Mba and of course Enugu for accepting to host the 2026 edition of the biggest sporting program in the nation, which is the National Sports Festival. Well, let's tell you that Chairman of the House of Representatives Committee on Sports, Honorable Kabiru Amadu, has applauded President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR over the creation of the National Sports Commission, adding the budgetary allocation for sports in 2025 is unprecedented. Amadu said as much during the Commission's budget defense and pointed out that sports had never had it this good. The allocation to sports is unprecedented. Sports has never gotten this type of attention in the budget. We must congratulate and applaud President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for his vision, support, and clear interest to get the sports sector going and be a major driver of a Nigerian economy, as we see happening across the globe. I must also commend you, Mr. Chairman of the NSC, for the effort, commitment, and professionalism you put in to get this increment in sports and the work you have been doing so far in delivering your mandate. This is the first time we are having such in Nigeria. There are many firsts in this budget. For instance, this is the first time we are having funds allocated to Sports Federation, who are the engine room of the sports developers, and likewise preparations for Olympics, Commonwealth Games, grassroots and talent identification, and school sports, as well as key infrastructure projects to provide the foundation to advance sports to the level we all desire, that he said. Very noteworthy is the proposed anti-doping laboratory to be constructed in Nigeria, a project that, according to the NSC chairman, Malam Shehu Diko, will, in addition to its statutory activities, be a huge revenue generator. The NSC helmsman also listed as some of the high points of the budget, thus funds for the renovation of the MKO Abiola Stadium, which, according to him, expects the pitch resurfacing, funded by Dangote in 2021, had never undergone any repair since completion in 2003, and still require further improvement as most of the facilities are obsolete. Others are completion of the 3-star 200-room athlete hostel, which should also open further streams of income in tandem with the sports economy. The High Performance Center, a first of kind budget line for Olympics and Commonwealth Games preparations, grassroots sports development, as well as anti-doping laboratory. He noted that the guiding document for the budget is the Renewed Hope Initiative for Nigeria's sports economy, RHINSE, which will be driven by the 3 R's, namely reset, refocus, and relaunch. And the House of Representatives Committee unanimously expressed their satisfaction with the budget defense presentation by the NSC chairman, and assured the NSC of all the necessary support and alignment, as well as the relevant oversight to ensure success of the budget implementation. Of course, coming out from that meeting where the House of Representative Committee on Sports gave a vote of confidence regarding the efforts being put to take sports, reshape sports in Nigeria, with the vision of the 3 R's put up by the National Sports Commission under the leadership of its chairman, Malam Shehu Diko, and also the Director General, talking about Honorable Bukola Olapade. Moving away from that now to our next story, Nigeria players abroad. Let's tell you that Nigerian international Josh Myers' injury has handed English Premier League hopefuls West Bromwich Albion a major blow here, and the England-born striker, whose full name is Joshua Rewoli Orisun Mihare Oluwashom Maya, has picked up an injury that has ruled him out for several weeks. This has come as a big blow for West Brom, as Maya is the team's top scorer in the English Championship this season, having netted 12 goals in 25 matches already. The Baggies issued the following statement indicating that the former Fulham player will undergo a surgical operation in the coming days. Josh Meyer is said to be out for several weeks after sustaining a lower leg injury. A statement read: the 26-year-old striker will undergo surgery in the coming days before entering a period of rehabilitation. Albion hopes to have Meyer back in contention during the spring. Everyone at the club wishes Josh well in his recovery, and Meyer has one Nigeria cap, having made his international debut in September 2019 in a 2-all friendly against Ukraine, replacing Victor Osimhen in at that time in that match. And we wish Josh Meyer all the best as he recovers from that injury. You're watching Sports Splash on ABS TV. Let's go for a short break. When we come back, we'll continue with stories on the African scene and international food also coming into play on Sports. Glad to know you're still there watching ABS TV Sports Splash, the Friday edition. In the first half, we told you that Anambra Club at Solution FC will this Saturday take on Kun Khalifat FC in one of the match day 6 programs of the Nigerian National League. It is called the most important league, and that match will happen by 3 p.m. tomorrow at the Oka City Stadium. It's an Oriental derby. Solution FC of Anambra State taking on Kun Khalifat FC of Imo State. So I'll be there. We probably told you about Enugu State. Yes, Enugu State will be hosting the 2026 edition of the National Sports Festival, and Bukola Olapado was in Enugu on behalf of the ministry to sign, to ink a deal, and of course officially presented to the media as he met with the governor of Enugu State, talking about His Excellency Dr. Peter Mba in that one. So Enugu State are preparing real well for the big one coming up in 2026. That's talking about the National Sports Festival, the biggest sporting program in the land. We told you that our Chan Eagles will be playing in Group D against Congo, Sudan, and Senegal as they prepare for the Chan, which is expected to start in the month of August. And now to the African scene, let's tell you that the Central African Football Federation, the RCA, and the Sports Ministry are at loggerheads over the appointment of Rigobert Song as the head coach of the national team. Central African Republic had been on the lookout for a new man at the helm after Raul Savoy was relieved of his duties in October 2024 following a failed 2025 African Cup of Nations qualifying campaign. And Song met with the country's president Faustin Acheng Taodera on Monday and was handed the reins of the wild beast by a government decree, which the RCA only learned about through social media. And the footballing governing body declared its dismay and surprise at the appointment on Tuesday after not being consulted in the taking of the decision. RCA has rejected the mandate but would like to avoid any action aimed at creating an unnecessary crisis between the ministry in charge of sports and the body in charge of management of Central African football. Song was most recently in charge of Cameroon, although he was dismissed in February 2024 after only reaching the 2023 African Cup of Nations round of 16, where his team lost 2-0 to eventual finalists, talking about Nigeria. The 48-year-old will now focus on turning around Central African Republic's fortunes in the qualifying for the 2026 World Cup as they sit 5th in Group I, having won just one of their opening 4 matches. Away from that, let's tell you that Percy Tau has embarked on a new chapter in the career after leaving Al Ahly to sign for Qatar SC on an initial short-term deal until the end of the season. The Bafana International had fallen out of favor with the Red Eagles head coach Marcel Koller and made 5 starts in all competition during the opening 4 months of the 2024-2025 season. And Tau was given just 1 minute in the CAF Champions League clash with CR Belouizdad, and that was on January 3rd before being left out of Kolasa squad completely for their 2-0 win over Samau in the Egyptian Premier League 4 days later. And the 30-year-old winger had been linked with a move to Kaizer Chiefs, while Pitso Mosimane was also credited with an interest in reuniting with the former player at Iranian side Esther Galal. However, Tau has decided to try his luck in the Qatar Stars League and joins the King on a reported 6-month contract with an option to extend his stay at the Suhaim bin Hamad Stadium by a further 12 months if they avoid relegation. And Qatar SC announced that the arrival of the former Mamelodi Sundowns stars on their social media account on Monday with the caption reading Percy Tau is Qatari, and Tau will be hoping to revive his international career after being overlooked by South Africa's successful 2025 African Cup of Nations qualifying campaign, with his last appearance coming in the 1-1 draw with Nigeria, and that's on the 7th of June 2024, we can tell you. But now Percy Tau is now with Qatari SC. We'll be watching out to see how he performs. And now away from football for the moment, let's go to the world of athletics. Alicia McColgan will belatedly make her debut in this year's London Marathon, competing over 26.2 miles for the first time. The European and Commonwealth medalist at 34 years of age had previously competed over 3,000, 5,000, 10,000 meters and half marathon, and her mother Liz won the London Marathon in 1996, and Alicia had planned to compete at the 2023 event until injuries prevented her participation. I'm really looking forward to making my marathon debut in London this year, the Scot said, and after a tough 12 months of injury, I'm excited to finally toe the line and start the next chapter of my career. She said, on the road, I've always had such incredible support on the streets of London when racing over 10 kilometers and half marathon events, so I can't wait to experience what the full London Marathon atmosphere has in store. The Scot said, I will be watching out for that one also. Now let's move quickly to the world of tennis. In tennis, a fifth seed Daniil Medvedev is out of the Australian Open after losing in 5 sets to teenager Leonardine in the biggest upset of the tournament so far. Medvedev, a 3-time finalist in Melbourne, saved a match point in the third set and forced a decider, but ultimately fell to a 6-3, 7-6, 6-7, 1-6, 7-6 defeat by the 19-year-old qualifier. American and Tina ranked 121st in the world, celebrated in front of a largely empty Margaret Court Arena after wrapping up a win in 2 hours 54. That's 2:54 local time in Melbourne. Before this week's tournament, Tina had never won a Grand Slam match, losing in the first round in all 3 of his U.S. Open appearances. Medvedev, who lost to Yannick Sinner in last year's final, seems like the clear favorite to win the match after steamrolling his way through the fourth set in 27 minutes with Tina looking fatigued. But after a brief rain delay, the left-handed Californian dug deep to break back in the decider and force a 10-point tie break. He is the top teenager this week after João Fonseca and Yakuba Mensika to have beaten a top 10 player. And Fonseca stole the headlines with the first round win over 9 seed Andre Rublev. But it is Tina who finished runner-up to the Brazilian in December's next-gen ATP finals that had gone further off the 2 in Melbourne. And Tina will face Francis Corentin Mautet, ranked 69th, and that's in the third round of the ongoing Australian Open, the first Grand Slam of the year in tennis. And lastly, from the world of tennis, let's still remain in Australia. Let's tell you that former world number 1 Ons Jabeur was in tears on court as she struggled with breathing difficulties during her second round Australian Open victory. The Tunisian later said that she had asthma flared up but recovered to beat Colombian Camila Osorio 7-5, 6-3 at the Melbourne Park. And Jabeur, a 3-time Grand Slam finalist, appeared to be coughing and tapping her chest before leaving the court for medical attention after just 3 games. And Jabeur, 30 years of age, has dropped down to 39th in the world rankings after injury problems last year prevented her from competing at the US Open and the Paris Olympics, and she ended her 2024 season in September, returning to action at the beginning of this year, and suggested the long spell away had caused her asthma problems to resurface. And Jabeur will face American 8th seed Emma Navarro, who beat China's Wang Ji 6-3, 3-6, 6-4 in the next round. Meanwhile, 2022 Wimbledon champion Elena Rybakina beat a 17-year-old American wildcard Eva Jokic 6-love, 6-3 to steal her 50th Grand Slam match point. And Jovic was the youngest woman in the second round of the draw, but struggled against 2023 Australian Open finalist Rybakina, who is ranked 184 places above Jovic. And the Kazakh player will face a Ukrainian 32nd seed, talking about Diana Yastamanska, who reached the semi-finals last year as a qualifier in the third round. And former Australian Open finalist Daniela Collins overcame a second set scare to beat Australian qualifier Destane Aeva 7-6, 4-6, 6-2. The American 10th seed was booed off court by a raucous Melbourne crowd as she blew them kisses and cupped her ears. Collins, 31 years of age, will face a compatriot Madison Keys, who beat Romania's Gabriela Ruz 7-6, 2-6, 7-5, and that's coming up in the next round. And German lucky loser Eva Lise booked her place in the third round after beating Francis Vavara Gracheva 6-2, 3-6, 6-4. The 23-year-old ranked 128th in the world. Thought she was going home after losing in the qualifying phase last week, but was caught up when the 13th seed, talking about Anna Kalinskaya, withdrew in the first round and has now won both of her matches in Melbourne. Ukrainian 28th seed Elena Vitolina cruised past American Caroline Dorhide 6-1, 6-4, and could face the Italian 4th seed Jasmine Pauline in the next round. So that's what's happening in the world of tennis. Ons Jabeur, despite having breathing problems, was able to get through to the next round of the Australian Open, weathering the storm and doing that in fashionable style. Back to football. In football, Manchester City are interested in signing Juventus fullback Andre Cambiaso, but City sources says that talks are not as advanced as reports in Italy are suggesting, and there is no guarantee a transfer will be completed this month. We hear. And however, Pep Guardiola is keen to bring in an orthodox left back. Something City have not had since Benjamin Mendy, who was suspended and subsequently released after serious sexual allegations were made against him, and the Frenchman was cleared in 2023. And Cambiaso, 24 years of age, joined Juventus from Genoa in 2022, where he came up through the youth ranks, and the Italy international, who had also played at right back, spent a season on loan at Bologna before becoming a first-team regular for Juventus. And last summer, he came off the bench in 3 of the national team's 4 matches at Euro 2024. Cambiaso has made 25 appearances in all competitions for Juventus this time, scoring twice and providing 2 assists. He missed his size 2-0 Champions League win over City, and that was in December with an ankle injury. And City are having an unusual busy January with a Brazilian teenager Vitor Reis flying in for a medical to complete his move from Primera. So Manchester City looking to get in more defenders to strengthen their that department. We hear that the likes of hear that some players will be leaving the club soon, and they want to rejig their setup. But City trying to bounce back after having a period of turmoil where they had a nosedive in their form. So we'll be watching out. Let's see what they can do. Now, time for us to check out the fixtures of league matches in Europe before we go on the show. In France, Montpellier will be taking on AS Monaco today. Lille will also be playing Nice, and on Saturday we'll have Lens taking on PSG. Rennes will take on Brest, and Lyon at the Stade Geelong will take on Toulouse, while Saint-Etienne will host Nantes, and Angers will take on Auxerre. Reims is at home to Le Havre, and Olympique Marseille at the Stade Velodrome will take on Strasbourg. In Germany, there will be 2 matches for today. Frankfurt will be taking on Borussia Dortmund. Actually, again for today, Bayern Munich will play Wolfsburg in their game. FC Heidenheim will take on St. Pauli. Is hosting Kiel at home to Hoffenheim. VfB Stuttgart will welcome Freiburg at their backyard, and will have VfL Bochum will take on RB Leipzig. Elsewhere, Bayer Leverkusen at the Bay Arena will entertain Borussia Mönchengladbach. Union Berlin will welcome Mainz 05, and Werder Bremen is at home to Augsburg. Let's check out what will go down in Italy this weekend as the league continues. And today, AS Roma at the Stadio Olimpico will take on Genoa. Bologna will play play Monza tomorrow. Juventus is at home to AC Milan. Is Atalanta playing Napoli. Torino will be on the road to Fiorentina. And on Sunday, Cagliari will play Lecce. Parma is at home to Venezia. Hellas Verona will welcome Lazio. Inter Milan will play Empoli, while Como 1907 is at home to Udinese. In Spain, the La Liga continues, and today Espanyol will take on Real Valladolid. Will have Girona taking on Sevilla. Elsewhere, Leganés is at home to Atletico Madrid. Real Betis, the Benito Villamarin will take on Deportivo Alaves. Will have Getafe at the Coliseum Alfonso Perez. That's their stadium. They will play Barcelona. Watch out for Celta Vigo playing Athletic Club. And Real Madrid will take on Las Palmas. Rayo Vallecano is away to Osasuna. Valencia at the Mestalla will take on Real Sociedad. And at the El Madrigal, Villarreal, they are known as the Submarine, Yellow Submarine, they will take on Real Mallorca. That's Villarreal taking on Real Mallorca at the El Madrigal, and that's the last match for in Spain. Villarreal taking on Real Mallorca. In England, Newcastle United will take on Bournemouth. That match is by 1:30 at the St. Mary's. Will have Brentford taking on Liverpool, and Leicester City, the King Power Stadium, will host Fulham. Is West Ham playing Crystal Palace in a London derby. Arsenal will host Aston Villa. Everton is at home to Tottenham Hotspur. Manchester United will host Brighton and Hove Albion. Nottingham Forest is at home to Southampton. Ipswich Town will welcome Manchester City, while Chelsea will entertain Wolverhampton Wanderers in the last match of the weekday in England. So that's the way it's going to go down in the leagues out there in Europe. From France, we checked out Germany, Italy, Spain, and of course I will conclude there with the fixtures in England. That's the program for this Friday. Thank you very much for being part of Sports Splash Monday down to Friday, and we'll have the concluding part tomorrow, the weekend edition of Sports Splash. My name is Ike Nwokede. Have a lovely weekend, but remember to keep sporting. Bye-bye now.